I'm Robert Garan, and welcome to Freedom News. During this session, we're going to be discussing tax rates, unemployment, fiscal cliff, consumer buying as well. Now, there's a lot of stuff to put into your mind during this session, but we're going to take care of it one story at a time. Taxes are changing. The daily life for Americans is about to change. Taxes for people who make $450,000 or more are going to go up. This was the deal that Obama created to work in conjunction with the Republican Party to avert the fiscal cliff. Some do not like this. Some do like this. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and we are going to go interview some people. Let's go. Joining me today is Dr. Garan to discuss the tax increases.
Hello.
How do you feel about the tax increases?
Well, I think it's counterproductive to the economy of the United States. I believe that the reason why the Obama government wants to increase taxes is to produce more revenue. However, I believe this will work just the opposite way. It has been shown throughout the years that more taxes mean less revenue. It has been attempted and done during the Carter administration, and it has been done in previous administrations. And more taxes have caused the people to invest less in the economy of the United States, spend less because you're taking away the money that they have to have the freedom of spending that money that people have. So when they have less money and they take less trips, they buy less things, they hire less people, it causes them to spend less money. So you remove a large percent of the stimulation from the economy, which causes less revenue to be produced and sent back to the government.
Thank you, kind sir. Oh man, those were some great words. Now, how about some weather? It looks like it's taken a ferocious turn for the worse, judging by some of the hair around here. Let's join our senior field meteorologist, Kevin McCusker, with the weather report.
Alright, today we're here in Westchester, which has just been completely destroyed by a Category 8 hurricane. As you can see, we're in a local's yard who's received a lot of damage. We're going to speak with them now. Hey sir, can we speak with you?
Yeah, sure.
Hi. What's your name?
Paul?
Alright, so what happened here?
Just a hurricane destroyed a lot of homes and everything. It's really bad.
So, did you guys lose power?
Yeah. For like a week or two, it's been on and off, like just the power lines. I don't even know what's happening.
Really? Is your whole family safe?
Yeah. Yeah, my family's safe and everything. You know, luckily everyone around's been safe. You know, I feel bad for everyone that isn't.
How about food? Have you guys had outages?
I mean, the supermarket's been busy, but I think the food trucks are starting to get in now, so it's not that bad.
And there's been gas too?
Gas, nah. There's a lines. I haven't left the house in a couple of days because of the gas and everything. I heard the lines are like 10 miles long.
Okay. Well, Rob, we're going back to you in the studio now.
I lost my dog.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks. We really need to hear about that weather. Joining me today is a senior field correspondent in the art of unemployment. Now, he is known by many names, but particularly well known for his name, Will O'Connell. Thanks for being here, Will.
Thanks for having me on the show.
So, unemployment, it's been changing recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's actually been going down.
Down?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Could you please elaborate?
In September it was around 9%, and now it's down to around 7.5%, which still isn't good, but it's better. And a lot of jobs have been created over the last month and a half, about 1.8 4 million jobs.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And last month, over 150,000 jobs were created, which is good.
150,000 you said?
Yeah, but those are all coming from the private sector. The private sector has created most of the jobs, while the government is still shedding jobs, which is not good.
Wow. That's very interesting.
So, but as we see, there's less discouraged workers, and that's good for economy, you know? Because less people are retiring or dropping out of the workforce, and more jobs are being created.
So, Will, the private sector, exactly how many jobs do you think that it's been
Oh,
created?
Rob, in December alone, they created over 168,000 jobs, and while the government shed about 13,000 jobs. So,
So basically you're saying that the government is actually slacking these days.
yeah, in the unemployment.
That
So,
is disgraceful.
yeah, private sector, they've been doing a lot, but the government, not so much. That's what I gotta say.
I guess that's the way the waters turn. We got a new person in today. His name's Kevin McCusker. He is going to talk to us today about credit reports, and funding on credit. Hey Kevin, what's up, big guy?
I'm proud to be here.
Thanks.
Feels good.
So, why is it so easy to get into credit trouble?
Well, these days it's so easy to get into debt because just because of credit in general. It's too tempting to have all these credit cards that Americans have.
That's true. You know, many people just walking around with 1,000 credit cards in their pocket. Now, I've heard that limitations on credit cards, like max out pays and whatnot, I heard that they have some sort of an effect.
Well, yeah, that definitely does, I think.
Now, how would you say that if somebody goes over their maximum limit on their credit card, how would that be detrimental towards their credit?
Well, basically what happens is people, they just keep getting into more debt, and it turns into just this black hole where they get charged for it, and it just gets even worse from there on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered some problems like this?
Yeah, I've been in tremendous debt.
Have you paid it all off?
Yeah, it's hard, but I definitely did.
Now, credit scores. Credit scores, you know, I'm sure you've heard of freecreditreport.com.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, Americans and their credit scores and their credit reports, how are they today in modern day society?
Not doing so great, and definitely been doing worse than we used to. Because actually, I have it here. In 1980, we were in debt $54 billion, and in 2004, it went up to $753 billion, which is $699 billion. Wow. So, as you can see, that's a lot.
That is one hell of an increase there.
Yeah, which is about half of consumers are in debt. Over half. 55%.
Wow. That's real stuff.
Yeah, it is. And on average, each household that carries debt carries about just over $10,000 in debt. And also, the people who seem to be falling into debt faster is low income.
So, Kevin, what are interest rates? How are they affecting the credit scores and people's credit situations?
Well, basically, the interest rates, they make it even harder to get out of debt because they just pile on top of each other.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're like a big accumulation.
Yeah, so especially for low-income Americans, it's even harder.
So technically what you're saying is it's sort of like the bulldozer effect, or as I like to call it. You have a bulldozer, you have gravel. It pulls and pushes all this gravel in front of it until you have this huge landslide of gravel, and then it just falls on top of you and you don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's like.
Exactly.
Wow. That's pretty intense stuff.
Yeah.
Now, how hard is it to get out of this debt once you're in it?
Well, it depends on your income, but basically anytime you're in debt, it's pretty hard to get out.
Now, I've heard of people going to bankruptcy courts.
Yeah, that does happen.
Now, at a bankruptcy court, Kevin, how does bankruptcy court play into this?
Well, basically how it works is people who are out of debt, what it does, they file for bankruptcy, And what happens is everything of theirs is just wiped out basically, and they start again.
So they start from scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a bad deal. But I've heard that once you do bankruptcy court, you can never do it again.
Yeah, that's true. You can only apply for it once.
Wow. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you
Alright.
for your time.
It's great being here.
Those were some interesting words from Kevin. He's a very smart guy. Now we also have another very smart key role in the productions of Freedom News. Sean Elliott at the Fiscal Cliff as we speak. A few words, Sean.
Thanks, Rob. Alright guys, come with me. You know, I got something real special for you. You know, it's real exciting. You gotta see it with your own eyes. You know, it's tremendous. Tremendous. You know, right here. Take a gander right here. The Fiscal Cliff for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fiscal Cliff. You know, recently we just averted this drastic disaster, but my news correspondent just told me about the deal Obama made with the Republican Party, showing that people who make over $450,000 a year will have an increased tax. So this will, you know, maybe help the economy, but you know, it might anger people who are very rich. Now, I'm going to send you on over to an interview with a teacher at Westlake High School, Mr. Barbara.
The Fiscal Cliff. We came very close to it, as I assume. What do you feel about that?
We were very lucky to dodge a bullet on the Fiscal Cliff, because I'm afraid had we gone back to the Bush pre-tax cuts, we would have been paying a lot more in terms of taxes, which could greatly have affected the economy. I think that we would have seen unemployment begin to rise again. I thought that the economy was healing itself, that the stock market was on the rise, people are beginning to go back to work again. Companies were considering hiring more people, et cetera, and had we gone over that fiscal cliff, I think all of that would have stopped, and I think we would have gone backwards and back into a downward spiral, and certainly have really crippled all the gains that we have made in the recent 2 years.
So, if we hit the Fiscal Cliff, we would have stopped, slammed the brakes, and thrown in reverse, and just go back in time.
That's a good analogy that we could use. I think it would have been not favorable for the country or nation, but instead would have been a huge financial setback. And I think at the bitter end, even the Republicans acknowledged that and finally caved in and allowed President Obama, who, by the way, was mandated by the people recently in this election by a pretty good margin, that this seems to be the direction that the people want to go in, that they're tired of hearing about certain groups like the Tea Party groups that want to just get rid of all taxes if they could. They would get rid of all spending if they could, and allow big corporations to run the company.
Well, so to speak, to thrive.
I'm sorry?
To thrive in the land.
Yeah, they would be the dominant lobbyists, they would be the dominant role players in politics. And I don't necessarily think that that's necessarily a great mandate for the people.
You have very interesting thoughts.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And Mr. Barbaro, everybody. Mr. Barbaro.
Very exciting words from Mr. Barbaro. Now back to you, Rob.
Thanks, Sean. You know, he's a very intellectual guy. Well, folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would like to thank you for participating in Freedom News, and thank you for preserving freedom throughout this land. This is our flag. This is us. Good night, folks.